You tell Bo, if he wants his town, come see me.
So we went to see Antoine Fuqua's Magnificent Seven, which is obviously a remake of a remake, obviously the classic Western, but also the amazing Seven Samurai from way back in the day. And this is, of course, a tale of a bunch of sort of roguish outlaws that band together to protect a town from an evil, villainous baron who's trying to take the land away from the innocent civilians that populate this town. It's a few against the many in this classic tale of good against evil. And, you know, at its core, there's a lot of enjoyment to be had in this Western. First of all, it's a Western and we don't see enough of them. But I think what kind of falls apart here is the way that this movie was shot and made just feels a little bit too claustrophobic and a little bit too, a little pedestrian. It just doesn't have the excitement. It doesn't have the flavor, the fun of some of the best modern Westerns. It definitely doesn't live up to the best of the, you know, the classic 50s types of Westerns that we've seen, and it's not as good as the classic Magnificent Seven. And I think one of the issues here is that Antoine Fuqua kind of frames all of his shots. I think he's trying to add some kineticism, some dynamic kind of quality to the way that he's positioning cameras, a lot of low-angle shots, a lot of, you know, below the brim of the hat, so it's not all shadows on the face. But it just becomes kind of a mess the way that this is all brought to us, you know? I mean, I feel like it needed a little bit more breadth. We needed to see the sort of setup shots. We needed to see the full scale of the town. We needed to see the air, you know? I mean, we're talking about a Western tale where the town is a couple city blocks and there's lots of land and huge vistas and things like that to see around the town, and we don't really get a sense of that. Every establishing shot is kind of crowded. There's stuff on both sides of the frame, and it just feels like Fuqua's always got to have some kind of busyness in his details. He's shooting a Western. We should feel the breath around the town. We should feel the air. We should feel, you know, how far the distances are to the mountains and everything, and we just don't get that. People will walk into a saloon and it's tight shot, tight shot, tight shot, tight shot, way too close, cards, and then a gun gets flashed, and then, you know, something witty gets said, and then it's the weird establishing shot at the end, and it just feels weirdly paced and not satisfying. It also feels a little bit bloodless, a little bit safe. You know, there's a tremendous amount of gun violence in the movie, obviously, but it doesn't feel like there's any real consequence. We also get a lot of kind of video game AI bad guy moments where characters will just come running out of doors with their guns pointed down and then get shot and do these old classic stuntman pratfalls and stuff. You know, it's fun to see these badasses take on hordes of other badasses, but they don't ever really pose much of a threat. You also don't feel like, you know, Denzel, he's always such a kick-ass dude. You just don't feel like he's in any real danger or any real threat. But it does look like all the actors are having a good time in their Western garb and doing the shootouts and hanging off of horses and, you know, walking down with their spurs on and their gun belts hanging low. And there's some interesting dialogue and some sort of good comedic moments between these characters and these actors, but it comes off forced. It comes off a little studio backlot. It comes off like an homage, I think, to what we remember of Westerns and how we think of classic Westerns, but Fuqua isn't really establishing his own language, his own kind of, you know, vibe with this movie. And it's a little unfortunate because I feel like everybody was game to do that, and I don't know what the hell happened or what transpired, but it just feels like a safe, by-the-numbers, routine, tip of the cowboy hat, I guess, to the classic Magnificent Seven. And I think it could have been a lot more. And frankly, with all of that talent and presumably all of that money, I think it should have been a lot more. I'm going to give the new Magnificent Seven a 6 out of 10. Hey, thanks for checking out that video on our EPN channel. It's just one small part of the things that we make around here. So if you liked it, don't forget to check out some of our other vids and hit that subscribe button.